This is an experiment that continues my research from last year on how the ancient Incans 500 years ago in South America, Peru, were able to shape their large stones with so you couldn't even get a crack in between them. No one can figure that out because there's no tools left. I believe that they did it with a simple rope, which could have been done in many different sizes. They had that back then. They also had sand or liquid stone. You could drink this stuff and pour it out. It is liquid stone. It's just sand. What I'm going to attempt to do is put sand, liquid sand, just like mortar, except it doesn't have it will not harden. I'll put the sand in here up to this depth, and I'll put the sand right here. Now what else I've done here is I have used spray paint to cover these virgin bricks, and I've marked them right here. And as I run the rope will be wet. That's all it'll be, it's just wet. I'm going to run the rope down here and over to the right, and I believe that's how they did all their stones, in some fashion. They had plenty of rope back then. There is no evidence of rope or any tools that they used on their ancient stones, such as Sexy Woman. I'll just say Sexy Woman, because we know they dragged their big stones over to Sexy Woman. We don't know how they got the joints to fit so tight, and I believe they used rope, because they used rope for their bookkeeping, they used rope for their accounting, they used rope for their armor, they used rope for their bridges, and they had that. They had rope, they had andesite stone, and they had andesite sand, and they had water. They also had evidence of large stone tools with holes in them, a hammer, but also they had large smooth wedges with huge handholds on them, and these are in the museums. That's the only two things they found, and I believe they used the wedges underneath here. As I go by with the rope, the sand comes out. Then they put wedges in here and in here and in here to hold it, so the rope could go all the way through from one side to the other. Also, the stones had little divots right here, either 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, like this one here. And what I believed is, after they ran their rope through, and I believe they did this multiple times, if the rope will come down this way and take off an equal amount from this side and this side and this side and the bottom side, it will eventually mold this stone or brick into the other bricks. It will cut a gap here, and then what they did is they moved it closer like that, and they put in more sand or mortar without it didn't harden, and they kept cutting like this and like this until everything fit right, and then they finally just pushed them together and they fit perfect. Now I want to see if that's going to happen. What I've done is painted everything silver. If any material comes off the brick or comes off the side of the brick, then the paint will show me that material has been removed. But a lot of people in my Incan wall theory last year said, well, you'll need to build a wall to prove it. And I think I will have to. Now, the local Home Depot says they're out of the 300-ton Incan stone blocks currently. But they may have some in and, well, they're not sure when they're going to come in. So what I've used is bricks. The only problem with the bricks is that, as in all Incan structures, like Sexy Woman, they use the weight, the gravity of the heavy stones to keep them in place while they were cutting them with the rope, in my theory. I can't get real heavy stones and do that, so I'm going to use these and see if my theory will work, and I'm going to film it, and I'll just put pressure on the top bricks with this over here. And I believe that they took their mortar and put it in here. They could have used any thickness, depending on the rope. They could have cut down here and over here. All of my evidence shows that that's what they did, in theory. So I'm going to film this and see what happens. And if it works out, then I think I'm right, and the president of Peru should invite me down for lunch to meet him and the first lady, and he should bring Miss Peru along too, because, well, just because. So let the experiment on building an Inca wall continue.